Susan Collins, the puttering old school marm that felt Trump has learned his lesson, just got mercilessly heckled at a ribbon-cutting ceremony in Seaport, Maine. And as the saying goes, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. I'm going to show footage of the crowd relentlessly holding Collins accountable over all the destructive votes she cast, because it is an object lesson in resistance. Because in many respects, when you see this footage, you'll come to see that to call it heckling is a misnomer. These voters vociferously held Collins to account for all the harm she has caused this country and the world. And it's particularly instructive because Collins was fundamentally unable to pacify this crowd. They refused to be gaslighted, and they refused to let the rules of decorum silence them. This video belongs in the Resistance 101 handbook, which, by the way, I've trademarked and will be self-publishing, so order your advance copies now. Collins is already running scared before she set foot in Searsport on the Maine coast. She barely pulled out a win in her last election because her vote to acquit Trump on impeachment charges really caused an uproar with voters. And that's when she uttered her famous argument that Trump had learned his lesson. Needless to say, Trump did not learn his lesson, but just as importantly, neither did Collins. She screwed her constituents and this country with that vote, but still won re-election. And so she thought she'd learned the lesson, that as long as she feigned enough opposition before the vote, that she could get away with voting along with the MAGA crowd every time. Well, she thought wrong, because now Collins is losing voters by the boatload to a Democratic candidate who is everything she is not. Blue-collar, hard-working, a vet, young, strong, and dedicated to fighting for everyday Mainers. Watch Graham Plantner's campaign video and then compare it to the laugh fest of Collins responding to a hostile crowd.
My name is Graham Plantner, and I'm running for U.S. Senate in Maine to defeat Susan Collins. A decade of military service going overseas, farming oysters to feed my community, diving to lend a hand to other fishermen, trying to start a family. But everywhere I've gone, it seems like the fabric of what holds us together is being ripped apart by billionaires and corrupt politicians, profiting off of destroying our environment, driving our families into poverty, and crushing the middle class. I did 4 infantry tours in the Marine Corps and the Army. I'm not afraid to name an enemy, and the enemy is the oligarchy. It's the billionaires who pay for it and the politicians who sell us out. And yeah, that means politicians like Susan Collins. I'm not fooled by this fake charade of Collins' deliberations and moderation. The difference between Susan Collins and Ted Cruz is at least Ted Cruz is honest about selling us out and not giving a damn.
And what this next video shows is that Mainers are all too aware that Collins is just as big a phony as Cruz. Watch.
Shame! 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 Shame!
Let's do Medicare! Medicaid! Shame!
Oh, but I'm so disgusted with the cuts the Republican Party has made to this big ugly bill. That's what you're disgusted. Get out of here!
So, now, if you would let me celebrate.
Oh, please.
With
There's no celebration during this time.
Address the issues.
I have a suggestion for you.
You gonna fat shame me?
So, could you
You're
just,
not so slim yourself.
could you please just listen for just one?
No, you never listened to us. You never listened to your job.
Listen,
Your votes destroyed our Supreme Court. You refuse to have town halls with us. We are listening to us.
for a moment,
Why are you funding genocide?
could you just listen?
You have voted for our Israel every vote.
I have a suggestion. Could you listen to the suggestion?
Vote Graham Plantner.
Could you?
Yeah.
Could you listen to the suggestion?
It better include a town hall.
Here is my suggestion. I would like the town of Searsport, which has worked so hard with state, local, and with me, to bring today about, to be able to celebrate.
What about Gaza?
Could you just wait?
Why? Why should we wait? Why should we wait? Why? You are completely genocide.
There's no future.
This would be in the haze.
There are two important lessons to watching this confrontation. First, the crowd does not let the rules of decorum silence them. The Republicans don't play by those rules, but they want everyone else to. Even so, after relentless confrontation, they do allow Collins to float a proposal. And I'm sure everyone thought she was going to say, let me finish this ceremony and then I'll answer your questions. But instead, she just tried to gaslight them and deflect, so they came at her again. They silenced her by responding meaningfully. Under the rules of decorum, Collins asked them to just wait. And they respond back, why should we wait? And they're right. They are done waiting on Collins to do the right thing. The time for waiting is over. Fascism is here, now. And Collins helped usher it in, which means it's now officially time for confrontation and all-out resistance. The other lesson is using the Gish Gallop against her with her mistakes. They hit her with no town halls. They hit her with Gaza. They hit her with the big bad bill. All of these are her own doing, and she can't defend against any of them. But collectively, they show that she is the worst kind of fraud, and that Mainers have caught on to it. So as last night's meeting demonstrated, Collins's lobster is cooked. Or as Graham Plantner might say, her oyster is shucked. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.